Have you ever woken up and realized someone important disappeared without a reason? Have you ever woken up one day and realized a person who meant so much to you just vanished? No explanation, no final message, no slow distancing, just silence. It feels almost unreal, like a scene from a movie that cuts abruptly. But here's the unsettling truth. People rarely disappear for no reason. Behind every sudden exit, there is a hidden psychological story, one most of us never get to see. Today, we're diving deep into the minds of people who cut ties without warning, not to judge them, but to understand them. Because when we understand behavior, we can finally understand our own healing. The story behind the disappearance. Imagine this with me. You're talking to someone regularly, a friend, a partner, even a family member. Everything seems fine on the surface, until one day, they simply stop responding. At first, you feel confused, then anxious. Then you begin replaying every conversation, searching for the moment something went wrong. But often, the moment isn't with you. The conflict is happening inside them. People who disappear suddenly often carry emotional storms they never learn to face. They don't walk away from you. They walk away from their own tangled history. The hidden psychology. So what really goes on in their minds? Psychologists often identify a pattern called avoidant coping. This is when a person chooses escape over confrontation. Not because they don't care, but because they were never taught how to stay. Some disappear because, 1. They fear emotional responsibility. Opening up means being vulnerable, and vulnerability feels dangerous. So the moment emotions intensify, they run. 2. They associate conflict with pain. Maybe they grew up in a home where disagreements turned into shouting, fear, or punishment. To them, conflict isn't something to solve, it's something to escape. 3. They carry guilt or shame. They may feel they're not enough, or believe you deserve better, so they disappear before you discover their flaws. Their nervous system is overwhelmed. Some people shut down emotionally when they're overloaded. Silence becomes their self-protection mechanism. They never learned healthy endings. Not everyone understands closure. Some people only know how to exit abruptly because that's what they've seen their whole lives. The story of the silent leaver. Let me tell you a short story. There was once a boy who grew up in a house full of noise. Arguments that echoed through the walls. Doors slammed until the frames cracked. Words thrown like sharp stones. Every fight ended the same way. One person walking out, walking away, walking into silence. Years later, as an adult, this boy repeated the same pattern without realizing it. Whenever a relationship became serious, whenever someone got too close, whenever emotions demanded honesty, he disappeared. Not because he was cold, not because he didn't care, but because he learned that leaving is safer than staying. Many people who cut ties suddenly share this same wound, a wound of unfinished emotional history. How their disappearance affects you. When someone vanishes without explanation, you're left with unanswered questions, self-doubt, confusion, the haunting feeling of being not enough. But here's what you must understand. Their disappearance is a mirror of them, not a measurement of your worth. People who ghost, vanish, or cut ties suddenly often operate from fear, not cruelty. Your pain is real, but it's not your fault. Why understanding helps you heal. Understanding their psychology is not about excusing the behavior. It's about releasing the weight from your chest. You don't need to chase explanations anymore. You don't need to rewrite the story trying to find the mistake. Sometimes, the most powerful healing comes from accepting this truth. Some people leave because they don't know how to stay, and that has nothing to do with you. A message to the viewer. If you've ever been abandoned without closure, if someone walked out of your life with no warning, if you still carry the quiet ache of unanswered questions, you're not alone. And if you want more videos that explore human behavior, relationships, and psychology in a deep storytelling style, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It helps us reach more people who might need this message today. The final insight. Here is the final truth. People disappear suddenly because they fear the discomfort of honesty more than the guilt of vanishing. They choose silence because silence feels safer than truth. But in the end, disappearing is its own confession. They weren't ready. Not for the relationship. Not for the conversation.